bem-vindos de volta à nossa conversa com o ex-presidente dos Estados Unidos, Barack Obama, que está lançando o seu primeiro volume do seu livro de memórias, Uma Terra Prometida. E quem está com a gente também, a editora executiva do jornal O Globo, Flávia Barbosa.
In your book you mentioned that republics engaged in racial politics to make opposition to your administration. Nevertheless, you never took race to the center stage of your presidency. Were you surprised that racism could resonate that way in sectors of American society, and would you react to it today differently?
I wasn't surprised. I mean, I was never of the belief that because I got elected, we were in a post-racial America. Look, you think about Brazil's racial history, and America, similarly, cannot undo hundreds of years of history just in one election. I think we have made progress. I think we have gotten better. But those old tribal instincts are still there. The legacy of slavery, the legacy of separation and Jim Crow exerts a shadow over today. You see it in the economy, you see it in corporate boardrooms, you see it in our politics. And so none of that surprised me. I think that, you know, as I wrote the book, I had to ask myself sometimes, should I have been more blunt, more forthright in saying, you know what, why is it that you are reacting to me in a particular way that you haven't reacted when it came to previous presidents? At the end of the day, though, as I write in the book, you know, when you're elected to lead a country, you know, the one thing that generally voters don't want to hear is your complaints, right? Because whatever it is that you're going through is not as tough as what many of them are going through. They may be losing their job or losing their house or trying to figure out, you know, how to provide care for their sick child. And you know, they don't want to hear somebody who's flying in Air Force One and living in the White House saying, oh, why are people being mean to me? So, you know, I think that there have been occasions and moments during the election. For example, I gave a speech on race at a time when my pastor at the time, Jeremiah Wright, you know, had said some very inflammatory statements, and it was a crisis for our campaign. I described how I, you know, took the chance of giving a fairly detailed and lengthy discussion of race to the American people so that they would understand the context of this. You know, although it's not described in the book because it comes in the second volume, you know, when Trayvon Martin, the young boy who was killed by a vigilante, basically, who had decided that this was a suspicious character, and then that individual is let free. You know, I described how I went to, you know, the White House briefing room and said, look, this could have been my son. And I was not in a position to determine guilt or innocence. Given my role, I needed to let the prosecution play out on its own. But you know, I think people understood what it was that I was seeing. But you know, the fact of the matter is that after 8 years of my presidency, we saw some people who were frightened by the prospect of me, African American, occupying the highest office in the land. But I'm always trying to remind people that there were a lot of people who were inspired by it and embraced it. And you know, the majority of the American people approved of the job that I did. And you know, I left office with as high approval ratings as any time during my presidency. So, Michelle and I often have this debate. She tends to be, she looks at a glass, she says it's half empty, and I tend to be the glass half full guy. I choose to believe that, although it's bumpy sometimes, we're making progress on this front.
Thank you very much, Flavia, for taking part in the conversation. Thank you so much, Mr. President. Unfortunately, we ran out of time, otherwise I would talk about Black Orpheus, the movie that inspired your mother to look at black men in a particular way. So, and that was a work from a Brazilian poet. So some Brazilians feel sort of responsible for your very existence.
Well, it's a beautiful and at the time groundbreaking film, and Brazilian culture, I think, has always had a special place in my life. Not just film, but music. Brazilian writers. So it is a lovely country. I can't wait to go back. And as soon as we get this pandemic under control, I hope I have a chance to visit once again.
Yeah, good. Thanks so much. And take good care of yourself and your girls, and send regards to Bo as well.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
We appreciate
Thank you, Mr. President.
Be safe.
You too. Take care. Use your mask. Muito obrigado pela audiência. Uma Terra Prometida já está nas melhores casas do ramo. Até a próxima.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was an excellent interview.
But we just have to stay a little bit of money.